Y'all, just goes to show you that good things come to those who wait, and bad things come to those who mess up what words they gotta say. Welcome, y'all, to the DeAndre Way, and it has been a honor, privilege, and pleasure to finally be able to cover one of the most anticipated shows of 2024, and that is The Traitors Season 2 on Peacock. They just released 3 episodes. I finished the first two, and we're gonna be covering the first 2 episodes in here, giving you the ins, the outs, the ups, and outs, ups, and downs, and everything around of what's really going on in the game. The first 2 episodes are titled Betrayers, Fakes, and Fraudsters, and Welcome to the Dark Side. So, if you don't know what The Traitors is, The Traitors essentially is a mass murder game show where there's 3 people who's killing everybody else, called the traitors, and the rest of the people are the faithful. That you're trying to find out who the traitors are. People play this game at camp retreats. There's comedy nights that have these things. There's a whole bunch of different names for this game, and they made the season 1, and it was hugely successful. Sari Fields was the winner of that season. She was also on this past season of Big Brother, and she came in 5th place. And that season was excellent. I didn't watch the whole season. I watched like episodes, clips here and there and whatnot because I did not have Peacock at the time. And it's a new show, you're not getting too deep into the new shows unless you're just a fan of the people on the show. And there was some people on the show who I was familiar with, but it wasn't enticing to me from a cast perspective, just because there was other things going on during that time, I believe. But I did watch the season, and it was amazing. Actually, it did really well, great reviews. And season 2 was announced months ago, and I saw the cast, and I was like, "Whoo, this might be the best show of 2024, y'all." Unless Survivor, Big Brother, they sweep people off the feet this season, which is gonna be a feat to do following this act. It's gonna be tough, and I feel good about this show. I feel good, and after seeing the first 2 episodes, ooh, some people done stepped in the wrong mud pile. Got the shoes all dirty, can't scrape it off the boots, and they just keep lugging it around. And some people bringing the old sad tactics of yesteryear to today's game. But let's get into it, y'all. But first, before we get started, thank you so much for watching. If you want to subscribe below, that would be most gracious for that. And we're going to keep it moving. And you're going to get a lot of more excellent things we cover in the Trust right now and the Traitors. So we're going to be a little bit of both content in both shows. But we're going to get into the cast real quick before we get down to the episode. There's 20 cast members on this, and we'll get through. So the first one is Karsten Bergie Bergerson. Interesting name. This dude is a redhead. He's from Love Island. I don't watch Love Island, so I know nothing about this dude. Season 5 Love Island, where he was a match with Taylor Smith. He looked like he could be with Taylor Swift. He's kind of her type. No offense to Travis Kelce, you my dog, but this dude looked kind of like the Taylor Swift archetype. Yeah, seems like a nice dude. Doesn't really come across as super interesting or super problematic. He's just kind of just a middle of the road kind of filler type of dude. But I mean, y'all that know Nova Island, that watch Love Island, you can tell me about him in the comments. Second player is Chris CT Tomborello. So I watch the challenge a lot. CT is from the challenge, been around since late 90s, early 2000s, been doing this for many years, has won the challenge, I believe, 5 times. Been around the block, made a lot of money. He recently got a divorce, so he had a little trouble with that in the last couple years and whatnot. But this is his first time on TV in a while. This is his first time on TV in a while. He's gonna be on the challenge next week as like a mercenary. But yeah, we haven't seen CT in a while. He's a powerhouse. He's a smart dude, great at puzzles, really athletic. Pretty much got everything at his disposal that he needs. But this game's a little different because it's not heavily focused on those things. It helps, but it doesn't give you an advantage per se in this game. It's a social thing, and he usually plays the challenge solo dolo. Like he'll have friends here and there, but he's gonna have his own back the whole game. So it's gonna be interesting to see how CT gives in this cast. Definitely gonna be interesting. I don't know why this article says he's won 14 seasons of the challenge. That is not accurate. He's probably played in four. No, he's played in like dang near 20 seasons. So this article is completely wrong. That's why I'm here, y'all. And this, I don't know what stylecaster.com is, but they need to reference check and fire some of their interns that've been doing this stuff. Next is Dan Giesling from Big Brother. So Dan has won Big Brother once and got second place once. He's called one of the best players in the game, if not the best player, just the way he plays and how he's able to manipulate everybody into doing what he wants without him having to lift a finger because he's not the most outspoken guy neither. Dan is kind of a low key, similar to Bergie, run of the mill type of dude. He's not gonna cause any rifts, waves, drama, anything like that. Just kind of go with the flow, do what he needs to do, and continue with himself. It worked for him in Big Brother, but this game is so far from Big Brother. We're not playing the kiddie carnival games. This is for real. And this is the only game I believe Dan has played outside of Big Brother. So definitely will be interesting to see him because we have not seen him in a long time. It's been many years, and people have been chiming for him to come back to the television screens and play Big Brother. But hey, this is the next best thing. Nice guy, very nice guy. So next we get Deontay Wilder. This is really why I was like, it raised every eyebrow. Deontay Wilder is a world champion boxer. He has been in the ring with some of the best. He's definitely an iconic figure. He's had hilarious interviews. He's had amazing memes and content and context about what he does, and he's a force in the ring. So this dude definitely packs that punch, and this is a completely different realm than boxing. Completely different, of course, doing this reality show. Nothing that he's ever been a part of. And it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this big, menacing dude on the outside conforms with all these, I don't want to call them regulars, but people seemingly less than him in Rivara's popularity in the grand scheme of things, because he's a professional athlete doing this, and it's gonna be, I think, a little tough for him at the beginning to kind of mesh well because he's the tallest dude in the cast, he's the biggest dude in the cast, he's a black dude too, so it's not gonna be easy for him to blend in, but he's got to blend out in his own special way to where I think that he can use it as an advantage if he's more vulnerable to people than he initially maybe wants to be. So definitely excited to see Deontay on this cast. Excited to see my brother. Next we have Ikinsu Kulogu, if I'm saying her name right. She's from Love. I don't know who this chick is. She's from Love Island, UK, season 8. She was the winner, and she joined the Traitors. And I don't watch Love Island. Again, I don't know who this girl is. She's good looking. She definitely seems composed about herself. Seems like she has a solid head on her shoulders, and she seems witty and attentive. So attentive. So definitely, I think she has a solid foundation. I could see her causing some little riffs here and there, and definitely calling people out when they need to be. So we'll see what you got up your sleeve, Ekin. If I'm saying the name wrong, I'm sorry. But next we have Janelle Perzina. She is from Big Brother as well. She's called the Queen of Big Brother. Last did Big Brother season 22, 20 or 22, 22, 23, 22, 22. Big Brother All Stars, where she did not fare very well because they were after her from the jump because she's like a threat. And she got third place on Big Brother twice, I believe. She got third at least once, and then she got top 5 another time. I think she's played 4 times. And yeah, she played with Dan as well, so they have a relationship coming into this. And she's also friends with Trishelle. So definitely gonna interesting to see Janelle. She's definitely gonna come out the gates blazing. She doesn't want to sit back and let things happen. She's gonna be the captain of the ship, steer wherever it needs to go, and give people the orders. She's not gonna be the midshipman and pulling down the sails and the anchor and doing all that extra work. She ain't trying to get her nails down and dirty like that. But she definitely is the game player where she wants the control and she wants to be a traitor. I would love to see her as a traitor, but we'll see if that happens. Um, but yes, her and Dan had a little falling out, but we'll see if they can get back together and be on the same page because they'll need each other. Next is Johnny Bananas Devenanzio. So Johnny is from the challenge as well. I've seen Johnny when he first started on the challenge. His season was actually one of the first season. His first season was actually one of the first seasons I watched, which was the Duel, I believe, back in like 2005, 2006. He's won the challenge seven times, 6 or 7 times. He's won the most out of anyone. Uh, yeah, he's people know who he is. Johnny's one of the more popular people on this cast and well-known names per se. I mean, his name's Bananas, for Christ's sake, and he's definitely an outspoken figure. Now, I'm not the biggest Johnny Bananas fan, but I do like he brings entertainment to the show. Whether you like it or not, he brings entertainment to the show. He brings that well-needed charisma, the jokes, the sarcasm, the attitude, just the little funny stuff that you kind of just need in order to lighten the mood a little bit. And some people not might get a sense of humor. I get a sense of humor, even though I'm not a big fan of it, but it's like this dude knows how to keep things going in a way. Now, I don't think he makes a show just with him on it. It's like, oh, the show's good because he's on it, but I definitely think he adds a good element to things and, knows how to spice things up a little bit when it needs to be. But he just finished his season of The House of Villains where he came in. He was in the finals, but he did not win. He almost won. But yeah, Johnny's been always been doing shows. Like he takes a year or two off maybe here and there, but for the most part he's always doing something. And he stays on television screens. I mean, I think last year alone he was on 3 shows at once, like The Challenge, House of Villains, and another version of The Challenge. I think he was on 2 different challenges and then House of Villains, all in one season. So all in one calendar year. So he's definitely been in the game and up to tip top shape when it comes to social, mental, strategic, physical, all those things. He's definitely going to be a high threat in the game, but that's not a kind of good thing in this kind of not a good thing in this kind of game because he's going to be a big target. So we'll have to see how he fares with that. But he originally started on the real world. Next, we have John Burkow. I've never heard of this dude. He's a Speaker of the Parliament for the UK. I don't even know what that is. I mean, it's politics. So, yeah, old dude, not really known by anyone. We'll see what he brings. But if he's a politician, then he can kick rocks. Um, yeah, that's all I have to say about him. Next, we have Kevin Creeder. He is from Bling Empire, so he's got money already, it sounds like, from the name of the show. I don't know who this guy is either. I've never heard of Bling Empire in my life. Yeah, he seems, from seeing him the first couple episodes, he's quiet, doesn't say much to himself, maybe trying to get a feel of the people, maybe out of his element a little bit because he can't flaunt what he has, and that's not going to help him in this game. That might help him in life, but that's definitely not going to help him with these people, and they might not like that. So they can say, look, you don't even need the money, so you can get the hell up out of here. Just like old boy from The Trust. But yeah, he don't really move no tables. He's not moving no furniture around the house. He's kind of just chilling. He might pick up everyone food at Starbucks and then bring it back to them while they're doing all the work. Doesn't take me as that kind of guy that just to be a wave splasher per se. Next, we have Larsa Pippen. Whew. Larsa, so she is Scottie Pippen's ex-wife, but currently dating Michael Jordan's son. Crazy. If you don't know, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen were teammates on the Chicago Bulls for many years. They won 6 championships together, and it's a little messy of a situation. I kind of hope they get into it a little bit with Michael Jordan and whatnot, or Scottie Pippen, and they make an appearance. That would be funny as hell, and because I think there's a new trader coming in the house, and I hope it's Scottie Pippen. That would be just French kiss, but I doubt that. But she's from Bravo, and she's from Real Housewives of Miami, so that's where she comes from. And she brought her husband, Michael Jordan's son, and you know, I don't watch Real Housewives of Miami, so I don't know how she is on this show. But from knowing things about her, in the media and whatnot, she's definitely a rambunctious woman, to say the least. So we'll see what she has to bring. Yeah, but she did bring her boyfriend, husband, partner, whatever you want to call it. They're not married, I don't believe, but she brought, Michael Jordan's son, which is his title on the show, which is interesting. And Michael Jordan's son is like It's interesting to see him on here. Don't shame your father's name, my brother. You got big shoes to hold up to, and if you don't fill them shoes correctly, your daddy might cut something off. Maybe like I don't know, 1% of things, but look, I don't really know Mike Marcus Jordan outside of him being Michael Jordan's son. He didn't make the NBA. He didn't play big D1 college basketball. He's just kind of like a guy that has a famous father. He doesn't seem like spoiled or anything. Like he seems like a good dude on TV, and I like him, you know. But we'll see what he provides to the show. Definitely a calming presence, it seems, and he has his woman with him, so he has something else to fight for. But they don't need the money either. So in a grand scheme of things, they can go. But I think more people are here for the experience. All these people are not like needing the money badly, I don't think, but more so everyone's there for the experience, which is it's cool. Everyone's kind of on a similar playing ground, some more than others per se. Next we have is Maxime Chervomovsky. Don't know who this dude is. Even watching the show, I was like, who is this dude? Dancing with the Stars dancer, professional dancer. Interesting. Okay. He said he's gonna be chill, lead with honesty. You're Dancing with the Star. You're a dancer. I'm a dancer too. But he's like Russian or something. I don't know what his background is, but I don't expect this dude to do too much. He's in an environment with mostly all full-blooded Americans. He might cause some rifts and waves. I mean, he looks kind of menacing a little bit, but we'll definitely see what he has to bring to the table, coach. But I'm not keeping my hopes up for this one. Next, we have Mercedes MJ Javid, and she is from Shahs of Sunset. I've never heard of that show either. All these shows I've never heard of. I need to maybe do some exploring. Um, she doesn't really seem like aggressive, problematic, assertive. She's kind of just there, just chilling back and whatnot. Another kind of person just going to fall in line with kind of the majority is doing, it seems like. So, not really much to say about her. Next, we have is Parvati Shallow. So, Parvati has one survivor. She came in second once, I believe, as well. And yeah, she's in the survivor world, she is like one of the queens. Like you mentioned, you say Parvati, people they stand up a little straighter, they get in line, and they're like, "Yes, ma'am." So I didn't watch her seasons of Survivor, but I know she definitely knows how to get down and dirty and play with the best of them. I mean, Survivor's a very much of a social game. You know, you gotta vote people. That voting people out is the name of the game, and she made it to the end multiple times. That says something about her, and I think she's gonna be real good at this game. I think Parvati is definitely a favorite to win the game. Next, we have Peppermint. Peppermint is from RuPaul's Drag Race season 9. She's a runner up. And yeah, this is I don't watch RuPaul's Drag Race either, but obviously I know about it. She definitely seems like a strong-willed person, like strong as in she's gonna get her point across. When she walks in a room, people are gonna know she's there and a presence felt. Don't know if that's the best thing in this game because you don't want to be too noticeable, but like any game. But at the same time, people might listen to her and follow in her footsteps about what she says. So we'll see. I didn't watch RuPaul's Drag Race, so I don't really have any other good things to go off of. Next, we have Peter Weber from The Bachelor. He was the season 24 Bachelor, and he was the season 15 Bachelorette contestant. So Peter, he's the only one from The Bachelor on the show, and he said he's relieved no one else from Bachelor Nation is on the show. Look, I'm gonna tell you a quick little story. I actually met Peter Weber. I was at a it was at a party, a club. We were in VIP and whatnot. He seems like a good dude. They call him Pilot Pete, apparently. Um, didn't talk to him a ton, but did talk a little bit. He seems like a nice, down to earth dude. Nothing too crazy. I think he maybe thinks he's more popular than he is because he didn't want to take photos. But look, I don't. I'm not here to judge anyone after meeting them one time. He seems like a fine dude. I I didn't watch a season of The Bachelor, but I heard he was, some controversy happened and whatnot. But I mean, when do they ever say controversy doesn't happen on The Bachelor if they don't get married? So that's neither here nor there. Sure, he's a nice guy, not really moving too many tables, I don't think either, kind of just going to fall in line as well. But maybe I'll be surprised. I mean, he's not giving out roses this time. He has to figure out a new strategy. So we'll see. Next we have is Federa Parks. I'm Phaedra Parks. She's from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Don't watch that show, of course. Never seen her before, but she has a nice little menacing look to her where she thinks she could move some furniture around the table, coach. She's not going to move too much heavy furniture, though. She's going to move it lightly and swiftly and under the radar. And I think she definitely has the attitude right for this game, and she looks like she should be here. And I'll just leave it at that. Next, we have Sandra Diaz Twine. She is from Survivor. What is going on? Why is my thing freezing? She is from Survivor, and yeah, she she won Survivor twice. She's the only one who won Survivor twice, I believe. I don't watch Survivor, so I'm getting it wrong. I'm sorry. But yes, she definitely she's giving it for these first episodes. She's giving it. She's giving it. I like her. She is kind of saying what's on her mind. She's not going to be shying away from anyone. She's not going to be hiding per se. She's going to do what she has to do, and everyone is taking note to how much of a threat she could be. So we will see what goes on with her. Next, we have Cherie Whitfield. Cherie is from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So we have two Real Housewives of Atlanta on this show. Interesting. Alliance is forming already with them. They probably haven't, I don't know if they get along because not everybody on that show gets along, clearly. They could have an underlying alliance, though, and an underlying understanding to where it's like, look, one of us has to come through with this because we come from the same show. There is that loyalty that can lie there, but we'll see. I like her as well, though. She definitely is giving the show some spunk and attitude and spice when I like it. Next we have is Tamra Judge. Tamra Judge is a member of the Real Housewives of Orange County. There's a lot of Real Housewives on this show. Whew, y'all can't find any other shows to get from then Real Housewives? Good Lord. Don't know who this is as well. Don't watch the show. She seems like a really strong-willed woman as well. Not going to be just pushed around and talked to any type of way. She's going to stand on her ground and not buckle. And I like that. So we'll see what she has to bring. And then we have Trishelle Cantella. So Trishelle was on The Real World initially and many, many, many years ago. And then she was on The Challenge. I like Trishelle. I wasn't a fan of her the last time she was on The Challenge, which was many years ago. She just was not my cup of tea, but I know a lot of fans do like her, and she seems like a girl who is better on a show like this rather than The Challenge because it requires you to be very social, and Trishelle is, the social queen. She's been around the block many times, and she's ready for this game. And I could see her definitely speaking up and causing some drama in the house. She was actually on Real World, the Challenge All Star Season 1, I believe. So she was entertaining on that. If you ain't seen it, check it out. It's on Paramount Plus. And the host is actor Alan Cumming. He produces the show on Peacock. I don't really know who this guy is very much. I have to look up to see if I've seen any movies with him, but I digress. I'm not super familiar with this man right here, but he's somewhat entertaining to say the least. He has a character he's playing, so just be aware. He's gonna he's gonna be talking some type of way, which kind of gets old after a while. But hey, it's a character. You get past it. But anyways, that's the cast, and we will dive into episode 1 and 2. So we start up. They're all pulling up in Range Rovers. I was like, dang, oh, they got a budget for this show. They pull up in the Range Rovers. They pull up with this band playing the drums in front. They got dancers. They got flags. It's lit. It looked like, oh, this is like the Olympic Games up in here. And these are the Olympians bringing up. Now, if the Olympians roll out some Range Rovers in Paris this year, it's going to be lit, y'all. At least the Americans need to do something like that. That would be lit. But knowing them, they're going to pull out in some Fords because it's American made. So let's not get our hopes up. And I don't know where Range Rover is made, but I don't believe it's made in America. I could be wrong. But yes, they pull out the red carpet for these people, and it's like, okay, we're here to play. The house looks amazing. It's a castle in the middle of nowhere of Scotland. I love the vibes already. It's definitely spicing it up. These first 5 minutes of the show is really getting everybody excited. It's getting everybody amped up. It's getting everybody going in the right direction mentally for this show and keeping your eyes hooked on the screen because you don't want to miss anything. We meet some of the players. They give their little 2 cents about what's going on. Marcus Jordan, Sandra, and the intro. Yes, the intro is dope, like I said, and everyone's dressed clean to pristine, has their best fits on, like they going to the governor's ball, like they going to the Met Gala up in here. I felt like it was a fashion show slash game show up in this biz. So I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot. When we start with CT, he says he sees bananas pop out the Range Rover, so it makes it look like I don't know if they saw each other before this or who was on the cast, but it looks like they first time they're seeing each other. But I feel like they knew who was on the cast. But he sees bananas, so CT and bananas are obviously from the same show. And he said he doesn't hate that he's there, but he also, how he knows how Banana plays the game. Bananas, he's gonna play the game. Banana plays the game basically how this is how he plays. He's gonna be the leader, self-acclaimed, and he's going to rally all the troops together. And Bananas cries a lot when things don't go his way. He can't just like kind of roll with the punches. He just wants a lot of control. And he's going to have he wants a lot of minions surrounding him to where he won't take none of the bullets. It's just going to hit the surrounding people and then the armor. So Bananas is probably rounding up people to finally to make alliances with and to just be his shields. And he doesn't really care who gets shot in there as long as it's not him. Now he wants his allies to go as far with him, but Bananas don't care about nobody else. Let's be real. And we see Dan. Dan talks about the last time he was on a show with Janelle. He was voting her out of the Big Brother house, which was years ago. So he has a little like, last time we was with each other, it didn't go her way, so she might be after me. It's been so much time. I don't think she's still thinking about that. This isn't Big Brother. This is the Traitors, and you guys need each other. So I think he's a little paranoid about that for no reason. We see Dan compares Deontay Wilder to. So Dan sees Deontay Wilder come out, and he's like, "Oh, like that'd be like if I was in the '80s, this was gonna be Mike Tyson coming out." I'm like, Mike Tyson? No, 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 no. Look, no disrespect to Deontay, but he ain't nearly as popular as Mike Tyson was in comparison to their prime. Deontay Wilder is popular. I'm not the boxing aficionado or guru, but I know Deontay's. If I had to use, I'm an NBA NFL guy, and if I had to use comparisons, like say Mike Tyson was Michael Jordan's popularity, they're about similar popularity back in the '80s or the '90s, should I say? In today's world, that would be kind of Deontay would be kind of like a Jason Tatum. He'd maybe be like a I don't know. He'd be like a I'll say he'd be like a Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler, people know who he is, and it's great to see him, but they're not like he's the best in the game. He's very talented, but he's not the best, and we never thought Jimmy was the best in the game at any point in time. But he's always been up there, so that's why I would compare Deontay Wilder to in NBA terms. Can't use Drag Race terms because I don't watch the show. But you could give me what comparison do you think Deontay Wilder would be? He's like tier if Michael Jordan and what's his name Mike Tyson is like tier S tier is the highest. Deontay Wilder is probably like B plus tier, as in revolves of relevancy and popularity when it comes to athletes. B plus, A minus, almost there, but not to that peak. So we soon get fire eruptions coming out the house. It's really dope. And the host walks out, Alan Cummings. He's telling them the rules. He says the winner can leave up with a total to $250,000. I thought it would be more prize money, but I guess they balling on a budget. I thought it was gonna be at least 500,000. These people all, after taxes, that ain't much for these people. But hey, it's something. It's something, and it's a dope experience. Allens will nominate the traitors, and the objective of the game is for the faithful to find out who the traitors are and vote them out for the traitors to not be suspected out and caught, and all vote. They have to vote all the faithfuls out. Now, I wish there was a different way they would select the traitors. I know the players can't do it, so that's impossible. But I wish there was some kind of like test to see who would like mathematically or mentally be the best trader by them all taking the same test and whose answers came up with the best trader attributes or something like that. I mean, look, it's random, so it's no big deal, but it's always interesting to see, like, man, like if this person was a trader, that'd be great. Or if a trader could be like swapped out with someone and they wouldn't know who it is. But then all the traders would have to be swapped out. But they have an oath saying they can't say anything. So I mean, I don't know. I wish there was just a different way that the traders could be picked, not just talking to this dude, Alan Cummings, who thinks he's Jesus and whatnot. It is what it is. So the cast finally walks into the house. They're checking things out. CT says the last time, he saw. CT says the last time he saw Trishelle, they weren't on the best of terms. They did get in a big argument last time they were on the challenge. I remember that. Trishelle said she does not trust CT, so we already got the two people kind of internally going at it and making it seem like, look, I can't trust you, you can't trust me. It is what it is. The challenge, the legends from the challenge, I can understand why they don't trust each other. The challenge is a backstabbing game. It's you need alliance members in the challenge to make it far, I believe, but not all these people have the same. I mean, Johnny Bananas and CT are similar tier status when it comes to the challenge, but Trishelle is a person who's never really been majorly successful at the challenge. She's not super athletic. She's not the brightest light bulb in the room. She's a pretty face, but she's not moving. Like I said, she ain't moving no furniture. She's just kind of swaying with the ocean's wind or the ocean's waves. But that's how that goes. We see Parvati and Sandra know each other from Survivor, and the season that Parvati lost, Sandra won. Ooh, that would be tough to be in there with a person that beat you to get that $1 million. Survivor gives $1 million. Survivor, they definitely has a lot more at stake, I'd say, than the Traitors. So it won't be as heavy and hefty, but Parvati remembers this stuff. So, and Sandra remembers it too. So she's like, I gotta watch out because this girl's gonna try to take the money back that I took from her. So, coach, let's let's tap her out real quick. So they could be in an alliance, but I could see them not trusting each other at all. But they shake hands, seeming like they're in an alliance. But we all know what time it is, coach. Sandra said she's gonna take care of Parvati once and for all. Ooh, I love it. I love it. Then we see says that she's never done any of the stuff in Survivor. Oh, Phaedra says that she's never done any of the stuff in Survivor, like sleeping outside, hunting for rattlesnakes, but she glamps a lot. So I don't know what glamping is. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of glamping. It might be a real housewives term, but it looks like a glamping is a form of camping involving accommodation and facilities more luxurious than those associated with traditional camping. So it looks like it's fancy camping. So not really camping. You're like in a electricity fused camp tent with bug spray all around you, nets to protect you from the gnats and bugs. And the point of it, I guess, is to have the allure of being in nature with a curated experience. So I guess I know what glamping is. I learned a new word today. Very interesting. Maybe I need to go glamping once. It might be cool. I'm not a kid camper myself, but maybe that's a start to get into it. Then we see Phaedra says Johnny Bananas gives Repo Man vibes. She going in, y'all. She going in. She ain't taking no prisoners already, y'all. She's going in, and I love it. Definitely, she's knocking some doors down already, coach. She said, "Look, this man got to go because I don't like the way he looking up in this mug." So then we see John, who is one of the five speakers of the UK kingdoms, and he said he's developed a knack for detecting who is trying to lie to see and cheat for material gain. Is that so? Well, I don't know about the UK politicians, but if you're anything like the American politicians, you got the game mixed up, flipped around, and up on its head, boy. So I think you went for a rude awakening because you've been on this pedestal most of your life and you think things run a certain way. That ain't how this game gonna run. Because I think he gonna run himself into the dirt and into a brick wall. He gonna see what some of the hell they might have been putting real people through in their lives. So we'll see, John. We'll see. Next, we see Dan. Actually, yes, eventually. I'm skipping things. But yes, then we see Laura and Scottie Pippen there together, and they're dating, clearly, as I said earlier. But they're playing separately. So like, well, if he goes home, I have to send him home. I'll send him home. If I have to send her home, I'll send her home. No, y'all not. Y'all just capping. Don't act like y'all really doing that. I'll believe it when I see it. Because y'all talk a big game just to make y'all seem like y'all with the team. But y'all really not. So I don't believe it for a second. Bunch of hogwash. You're not gonna do that to your lover. So we'll see. Eventually, everyone talks to the host. They're sitting in this room one on one with the host. They tell them they want to be a trader. I want to be a trader because of this. I want to be a trader because of that. I don't want to be a trader. I want to like look. We don't get to see it all, but I know they're posting it on the Instagram. So if you want to see that, go check out the cast Instagrams. They'll post it on there. And soon it is time to have everyone sit in the big round table, and the host is going to tap on people who he decided to pick to be a trader. I mean, if it's him or the producers or whoever's deciding, I wish we could see the process behind that on how they exactly decide who they pick, because I want to know the exact, straw that broke the camel's back. Just picking people based off what you feel, I ain't gonna say it's a little script or a little fishy, but I definitely want to know the big, deep reasons why you decided to pick these people. Just want to know, just so we can have full transparency. We're missing that part of the story, coach. But I digress. We just left with this. So he's walking around, walking around, walking around, and he taps on Dan first, and then he taps on Phaedra. So he just taps on two people. Everyone's blindfolded during this. They take their blindfolds off, and Janelle, she's pissed. She's like, "Oh, I'm not a traitor," which we all would have loved to see Janelle the traitor, everyone. But I think she would have got sussed out very easily because I don't think she could hide it that easy. She's just too much of a. She already holds her head high, but I feel like her head would be out of the frame if she was a traitor, and it would just be obvious. So definitely, I'm not. I wish she was a traitor, but at the same time, I understand why she's not. Tamara says it's gonna be easy. Says it's gonna be easy for her to find the traitors because she can spot a fake and a phony just like that. We'll see. We'll see. You think you're so smart? We'll see. The host tells everyone that the traitors have been selected, but there will be one more person that needs to be added to the traitor group. So we don't know who's picked. Everyone else doesn't know how many traitors have been selected. Is it one, two, three, four? We don't know. But all we know is somebody else gonna be added to that list. Next, we see Parvati's upset because she got accused by Larsa, of being a traitor, and she's barking at the wrong tree. So Larsa, yes, they have a moment where Larsa accuses her of being a traitor, which is nothing serious at this point. It's like, oh, I think you're a traitor. You could be a traitor because of this. You could be a traitor because of this. Anybody taking that seriously is paranoid and needs to check themselves because it's not that deep. And if you laugh it off, I can't see anyone coming at you because they're like, oh, you were just laughing at me being called a traitor. They can't be the traitor because if they were the traitor would get defensive and suspectful of everyone else. So Parvati, just keep it cool, Parvati. You keep it cool, girl. I know we ain't in the woods making fires and this and that and the third and whatnot, but just keep it cool, girl. Just keep it cool. Next we see Larsa so this part was strange. Lars is convinced that she has the best hearing in the world because she says when Alan was walking past her picking the traitors, she could hear his hand being lifted up to tap someone's shoulder. Huh? Are, are, are you Spider-Man now or something? Because that logic right there, girl, come on now. You telling me you can hear this? Can y'all hear that? No, you can't. So what is she talking about? She's losing herself in the music already, and the game hasn't barely even started yet. This girl, that's all I know. If she says that in these little mind games already with people, and she thinks she got these Jane Grey superpowers, like she's an X-Men or something. She needs to check herself because she's lost in the sauce already. Janelle then says John was breathing very heavily and she thought it was strange. And he said, "Oh, I have asthma." She's like, "You do?" He's like, "Yeah." So that's like, that's why I was breathing hard. She's like, "Oh, okay." Janelle, same thing. I mean, it's a nerve-wracking moment. Some people get a little claustrophobic when they have a blindfold on, so they might not act like themselves because it's a nerve-wracking situation. Maybe he's trying to throw you off as well. I mean, I don't know, but these assumptions right off the gate in front of everyone is just not a good look. And putting your own target on your own backs because you're so quick to accuse people. It could be like, oh, you're so quick to accuse people, you're trying to throw people off your scent into somebody else. It's not a smart move, whether you're a traitor or a faithful. Then we see Bergie. He's in the next to the bar and he's getting red talking to someone. I want to say Parvati, but I don't think it's Parvati. Someone else. He's talking to one of the women and he's getting red and she's like, "Oh, you're getting nervous." He's like, "Yeah, I'm just nervous." And he spills his drink. She's like, "Yo, you spilled your drink." This dude is funny. I mean, he looks like a good dude. I think I'd like to go get a drink with Bergie. He's he's not he's kind of a little, he seems a little naive from the get-go. He seems a little shy, but not shy as in the sense where he won't talk, but just real, just like I don't want to make a fool of myself shy. But he's a funny dude, man. So I'm kind of rooting for him a little bit right now. He just got me laughing at, like, you know how somebody, you could be around somebody and they don't have to do nothing and you just be laughing. He's one of those dudes where you could just stand there and you start laughing in a good way. And it looks like Johnny, CT, Dan, and someone else have a little foursome trio going on. Um, Johnny, CT, Dan, and who's the other one? Johnny, CT, Dan, Pete, and Pete, I believe. I could be wrong. Have like a drink and they have like a little toast, so it looks like they have an alliance. Marcus says when Jordans put their mind to anything, they'll do it. Huh? You didn't make the NBA, my friend. Your daddy did. But I mean, if that's what coach you've been using your whole life to get here, I guess keep doing it because he did pull his teammates' former wife. So, I, look, it's a mess, y'all. Go watch Housewives if you want to divulge into those situations. But we'll keep it off of here too much for to an extent. Then we see they leave the castle and they pull up to the first mission eventually. Tamara isn't feeling well, so she's not taking place in today's mission. They just blow that over real quick. She could just sit out. I mean, look, if she was a traitor, I don't know if they'd let that slide, but since she's not a traitor, they're probably just like, all right, whatever. And that would immediately set off alarm bells in my eyes. Be like, oh, she's not here. Like, apparently production didn't care about her enough to bring her here because she's not that big of a part of the storyline yet. So there's no way she could be a traitor. So I already X her out of my list because of that simple thing right there. And all these people have been in production before, so they kind of know they should have an idea of what strings can be pulled and what would be done. Because you're not gonna have one of the traitors sit out the first mission. Are you kidding me? Get out of here. So what they have to do for this mission is they have to set the puzzle pieces together. They have these puzzle pieces in this big lagoon all over the place, and they have to bring them all together to form a picture. But they have to find a map to help them figure out what the puzzle is. Now, they don't need the map, but the map helps a lot because you can't really just see what's going on with all the puzzle pieces because they're enormous and all floating in the water, and you got to put them together. So the puzzle map is definitely a key element. But if you have someone super smart and they can figure it out without it, sure. But there's a time limit, so they definitely need some time for that. They have to put them together and then light the fire, and then that'll cause an explosion. And the whole, not explosion, that'll cause the fire on the puzzle pieces to light up. And if they complete this mission, they'll get an extra $30,000 to the prize pool. They have 40 minutes. That's a nice chunk of cash. 30,000 added to that. That's nice. That's real nice. So, and they mentioned that there are 3 shields available. So if you get a shield, that means you're safe. You can't be voted out. You can't be axed out by the traitors, and you can't be voted out by someone at the round table. I believe it serves for both. So the shields are very important. If you feel like on the chopping block, get a shield, you're good for another week. That's how it goes. I'll be going for them shields, coach. Can't blame anybody for that. And yes, they say there are two shields on the locks. There are two shields. One is on the lock in the water. They call it the lock. And the player, yeah, they're able to get them protected. Uh, and then there's one on land. So there's three total. If there's going to be starting the mission tied up though to these posts, Hunger Game style. It's real Hunger Game style. So yes, they start the game, and Janelle gets out of hers quick. It's like I'm like, dang girl, what you doing? She knows some little bedroom tricks up in there. She been tied up a time or two, girl. You been practicing this at home or something? There ain't no way somebody getting out that quick now. Come on now, coach. What's really going on? Janelle gets out and she immediately runs to the shield, which they can clearly all see. So they all can pretty much see, which they don't show. Whoever gets out first is gonna get this shield because she runs straight to it, like she knows exactly where it's at. She doesn't have to think or nothing. So it's like, huh? They must have all noticed this, or at least some of them did. But she gets that first, and everyone's like, "Oh, help us untie each other. Why are you doing that?" I'm like, "Why? What would y'all do? Y'all would help each other untie first, and then somebody will get the shield. Stop it. Stop the cap. That was smart of her to do." And it's funny, during this whole thing, the host is sitting on his red chair in the middle of the challenge and overlooking everyone, just giving his little commentary like Jeff Probst, except unlike Jeff Probst, he's not running around commenting, giving sneak disses to everyone. He's doing it to himself, which is kind of funny. And so the strategy seems to be that people are getting in the boats. A lot of the guys getting in the boats to go get the puzzle pieces together because they have to eventually get out the water or tie them to the boat and row the pieces back, or just grab them while they're in the water and pull them as they're swimming. So you got to be a good swimmer if you're going to do all that, which I know Johnny and CT are great swimmers, so they could probably do that, but not everybody. And it seems like a lot of the women are out for these bottles out that have the maps in them, but they got to go through like 300 bottles to find the right map. So it looks like some work. They're going to have to get down and dig deep with them nails and figure out what's really going on with the map, coach, because they look like they looking for a hot minute. But I would, if this was me, I'd send more people to get the puzzle pieces than the map, just because the quicker you get the puzzle pieces back there, and if you're waiting on the map a little bit, you're fine. But then while you could still have people working on it, while looking for the map, I would only send like 4 people to come do all these maps, and then everyone else go get the puzzle pieces. But that's just me. There wasn't one leader in this, so that kind of made everything a little confusing. Definitely difficult on that aspect when everyone's yelling one thing. But everyone's getting untied, and Bergie is the last one untied, which is pretty funny. Like I said, just a funny dude, just like being there. Like, come on, bro, what you doing? Banana says he's an asset, and he's trying to prove it to everyone and showing that having him as an asset to help win the money outweighs the fact that he's an asshole. Yeah, to an extent. But we got to get you out of here, coach. As we're like, look, you an asshole way more than we need this money, coach. If we had to leave today and split the money and vote you out, we'll do that. Because but that means you got to check yourself, bananas. You got to check yourself and be like, look, let me tone it down a bit, because this ain't the challenge where I'm around a bunch of people who kind of have to put up with that, because the challenge is a very physical game and I can push my way out of this. You got to be able to talk your way out of this. Kind of like House of Villains to an extent. But these are the real gamers in here. Real gamers. House of Villains, it was real gamers too, but it was just a different field of play. But you gotta adjust and adapt, like you always preach. Adjust and adapt to what people are around you. So everyone in the boat sees the shield eventually. In CT's boat, there's 4 people. CT sees it. He's like, fuck this, I'm out. He jumps in the water, swims to the boat, or swims to the shield, grabs the shield, and he's safe. He's like, look, CT was out there like looking like Michael Phelps trying to get to this shield, coach. And everyone's kind of just looking like, should we go after it too? Because then they're fighting over it. That'd be a mess. So they just see him take it off. They let him have it. Oh, then Deontay sees a shield in the water. He jumps out too. And I was like, oh, I hope this brother knows how to swim. That's all I'm saying, coach. I'm like, Deontay, please, we don't need a casualty on this show, coach. And we need you to represent us well. Former athlete. And you going to try and swim in the water, coach? Come on. But he seems like he's doing all right. They have life jackets on, so I'm happy about that. And a brother ain't going to need a call for the paramedics and nothing like that. So we good. And he did it like it was another day. But he gets the shield, so all three shields are taken. Janelle, CT, and Deontay are all safe regardless. And they eventually find the map, the women do, on all the bottles. And they get all the puzzle pieces together finally, but they're pushing the pieces together to make a shield. And it seems like Peppermint and Marcus are the ones yelling the instructions out. It's getting a little hectic, confusing. I think in this, you got to pick one person. You can't even have two people yelling this out because, like they said, two people are saying two different things, and that's just messing everyone up. At least if you're the put one person in charge and you guys don't complete the mission, you have someone to fall back on. Be like, look, we know it's not fair that you might get voted out, but you were the one kind of in charge of this major part of the production when it comes to finishing the mission, and you didn't do it. You might be a traitor, you might be a faithful, but regardless, you got to go home because also the game is look the name of the game is to get the traitors, find the traitors, get out. Say the traitors get found in the first three missions. Boom, boom, boom. You guys all got to split this money still. You know, it's about getting the traitors out, but it's also about dwindling the numbers down so you can have more of the pot. I mean, everybody wouldn't go there to leave with 15, 20, 30 grand. They didn't come there for that. And if they left with that, they'd be like, thanks, but we're leaving. So just another thing to think about why people make decisions they make or could make the decisions. But yes, they finally get the puzzle pieces together. And it seems what the edit does, it seems like they get it in the last seconds of the game, which I believe they were like running on last minutes. But it made it seem like right when it hit zero, they hit it. I don't think it was that close. I'd say they had maybe a minute or two left, but dramatic effect helps a lot. And what do you know? The group completes the mission. This doesn't look easy. This does not look easy. But they take care of business. These all people been in the game for a minute. They're vets, they're pros, and they came to play. So they take care of business right there. CT says he knows if him and Bananas weren't there, they wouldn't have gotten the money, which I think is facts. CT kind of knows how to take the reins and is amazing at puzzles. We've seen it for years, so he knows what he's doing. Bananas knows what he's doing. And they're like, okay, well, if we're here, we're definitely going to help carry the team to bring money, and hopefully that'll bring value to us. We'll see. We'll see. People aren't thinking like that though. They just want to get people out because they want, like I said, they want more of the pot. They said, look, we smart. We can figure it out without y'all. We don't need y'all to superheroes to save us. Janelle says she will sleep well tonight while everyone else is shitting their pants. Yes, you will, Janelle. Kudos to you. Deontay keeps chanting all day, all night, all day, all night. I don't know if that's a saying or not. It's very, inspirational and whatnot. It's getting people excited, but, the mission's over, Deontay. Bring it down a little bit. But he's just hype right now. He's just hype. And I like to see that. We don't get to see that too much. We don't get to see people like Deontay too much on TV shows like this. And I love that. I love he's getting a chance to do this, regardless if he needs the money or not. It's just a refreshing casting decision. So I'm definitely enjoying it so far. Dan is going around trying to figure out who he can trust. He talks to Janelle, he talks to Peter soon, and he's thinking of getting Parvati to be a traitor with him because he's a traitor. He knows he's a traitor, but he got to pick one more person. He's testing who's gonna be that person in that other outfield along with me and Phaedra. We need three of us. And who's gonna be able to catch the balls that we can't catch? Who's gonna be able to pivot when we can't pivot? Who's gonna be able to take the bullets when we can't take the bullets? So definitely interesting. I think they have a very keen decision. I think, look, I would pick someone super quiet because if they're voted out, oh well, because they could take a bullet for you. I don't think it's best to pick someone kind of even on your scale. Like they pick a very powerful player essentially. Well, we'll get there, but I think if you're looking for someone else to be a traitor, you got to look at someone completely opposite of you, completely opposite, mate. Because Dan, you've won a show. Phaedra, I wouldn't say she's won a show, but she's the main character in the cast. But it involves of Dan's case per se, because it's what seems to be like his decision more so than Phaedra. Pick someone who hasn't won a show, who's been kind of an underdog in their show, or just a backseat driver. I definitely think that person would be a great traitor because they would get sussed out before you. Also, you got to think about who's going to get sussed out before you, possibly. Not really who's going to move tables as well. But yes, and also we see that He's talking to Sandra as well because she's won Survivor twice, and eventually it's time for bedtime. Everyone says their goodbyes because they don't. When they go to bed, that's when the traitors kill someone, and you won't see them wake up in the morning. So everyone goes to bed. Dan and Phaedra both get up in the middle of the night to go take their traitor's oath, and they soon go to the traitor's watchtower, I'll call it, and they reveal their cloaks and they see each other and they're giddying with joy. Like, oh, it'd be amazing to see kind of like who else would be there with you, but yeah, it'd be a interesting feeling. And their first decision is to pick someone else who will be the third person as their traitor. And they're going through names and whatnot and thinking about, well, this person, about this person, what about this person? And we finally see the note go underneath someone's door, and that someone is Parvati, the Survivor winner. So he picks a very, on paper, powerful person. On paper. She is. She's definitely covers, tracks that both of them don't per se. She might be friends with people that they're not, so they can have eyes and ears in every room. So I see why they pick her. She's a great pick. I like Parvati as an option as well. But I probably would have picked Kevin or Birdie just because if they get caught, I feel like they. I might have to set someone up and see someone who would get caught because I mean you take more and more of the money if you're a traitor at the end. And what's wrong with having two traders? Nothing. So I might have picked someone to get set up, but hey, and Johnny Bananas. I mean, someone loud, but hey, they picked Parvati, and she's super excited, and it's time to murder someone now. So now they got to make a decision. They're thinking about picking Kevin because he hasn't done anything. Dan brings up Johnny Bananas because that's a big move, and I would shake everyone, which is facts. Johnny going home is a big void in the house, and would get people to like, oh snap, like we're in the game type settings. If someone quiet per se goes home, it's like, oh, okay, like wow, we're shocked, but it's not really hitting those chords like you think they are. Phaedra says Dan won Big Brother twice, which she was wrong about this. He's only won Big Brother once. So let's get the facts right. He's won Big Brother once. He's won Big Brother once. And then they debate Peppermint. They're like, oh, Peppermint, maybe, been talking a lot, been accused already. But soon they decide to pick their murder. And then it's time for everyone to wake up for breakfast, and the cast walks into the dining breakfast area one by one, slowly seeing, or in groups of four. They see each other, oh my gosh, and then you realize they're safe, so they're accelerating. And it seems like a lot of people are walking in this thing. I'm like, dang, I didn't realize how many people's on this cast after watching it. I was like, this is going to be a long season. But yes, everyone's walking in. Then soon, Trishelle, before Peppermint comes in, she brings up her and Peppermint's little talk. So what happened with Trishelle and Peppermint on the first day was they were talking, and Trishelle says, maybe you could be the traitor. Ha 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 ha. And she thinks Peppermint kind of took it the wrong way in regards of her body language. When it seemed like a harmless joke from my point of view watching it. I mean, if you laugh after you say something, I do that all the time. After I laugh after I say a joke, it's not serious. But not Trishelle took it as her thinking that the joke was serious when I don't think Peppermint thought it was serious. That's just how she reacted to it. Another problem with assuming that someone's acting a certain way when there is no real evidence given. It's just your perception of things. When you make your perception the truth and the truth for everyone else, and make it others' truths, it causes a problem and a big rift. And that's what Trishelle did. So Trishelle's in the wrong here, trying to assume that that's what she was feeling and thinking when that's not the case. And I feel bad for Peppermint here just because she was put out on an island for no reason and she didn't have any say so, and she couldn't even have a chance to save herself because Trishelle brought this up before she was able to walk in the room, which I think was done strategically. If you know that they had an issue and you're clicking on who's coming in the room first, but you pick Peppermint last, that's so unfair. I mean, it was sabotage, and she at that point, what could she possibly do? I mean, she messed up later, but it was sabotage, and I was annoyed to see that. Trishelle's already getting on my nerves, calling people out over nothing, when she's in her own head. Trishelle's known to kind of get in her own head and spiral. So I'm like, she's doing the same thing she was doing on the challenge, on the real world, everything. I'm just ready for her to go home at this point because She just makes accusation over here with no evidence, nothing. She's just going off what she feels and how she thinks someone reacted to it. When that's just her biased opinion. Problematic. But yes, a lot of the inner dialogue we miss at the dinner tables when they're discussing who could be a traitor and recruited. We don't get to hear like a lot of things that are said. It kind of just pans over real quick. Like, oh, I think that, and then we don't get it. So we miss a lot of that, but it is what it is. Um, we soon see we soon seen Kevin and Peppermint are the last ones to walk in, and then they're kind of like, "What's going on?" And then Peppermint has to kind of explain herself of like, because she was confronted about this little Trishelle situation, which, like I said, wasn't fair. But people, that's just how they're gonna act like now. So we find out that Johnny Bananas is eliminated first. So he's the first one axed, first one out of here. I don't hate to see John. I don't love to see Johnny leave, but I don't hate to see him leave. I watch a lot of the challenge growing up. I know who Johnny Bananas is. Like he's probably the person I knew the best on the cast. He was just on a show, literally just on House of Villains. He maybe people thought like, look, he's been on these TV shows. We've been watching him all year. We're tired of seeing you on our screens, Johnny. Just let us have this. You've had everything, so it's time to go. That could have been a reason for the Traitors' decision. Maybe Johnny was going to rally the troops and be able to really scope everyone out and get a scope of things and be that protected person. But they had to do what I mean, they got rid of a faithful. So I think Johnny was the loudmouth, and sometimes his jokes might have came across the wrong way towards certain people, but came across the wrong way to the Traitors, as in like he might accidentally slip up and say something right, and then we'll be shook and we're out. So definitely not a bad move getting Johnny out the game, and yeah, very very early exit from him. I don't think he's ever went this home. I don't think he's ever went home this early on a show since his very first season of the challenge. Because in the first season of the challenge, he went home very in the first episode. So this might, Johnny, he got some he got some fixing up to do with his little stigma right now. He just lost the finale of House of Villains, and now he's the first boot on this show. It's looking peak, my brother. It's looking peak. Johnny says the house will be a lot less fun without him, and CT's worried because he's like, "Wow, Johnny's gone. Like they might be going after challenge people. I might be next." CT and Johnny are two completely different people. I don't think CT's on people's radar to that extent yet, because when you think of the challenge, you kind of think of Johnny Bananas first, and then like CT and whatnot. More so the popularity aspect of things, just because Johnny's done more seasons than CT, and he's more of a vocal figure. CT's like the big bodyguard who's really doing all the work, but doesn't get the praise that Johnny gets because he's loud and has done a lot of controversial moves. Deontay soon asks Peppermint to clear the situation with her and Trishelle. She explains herself, and Trishelle, like we already went through that. Peppermint says she could kill with looks, but she's not killing nobody because she's not a traitor. I like that line. Dan goes up to Parvati and sees how she's thinking. Dan's walking to everybody like, how's it going? Trying to scope things out, but he goes to Parvati because he elected her to be a traitor. And she doesn't know the other two traitors yet. So he's like, he just seeing if he made the right decision. I mean, it's too late now, Dan. You already made the decision. So whether you like it or not, she's a traitor. So you're just going to have to live with it. There's no point of scoping and watching her. I mean, she can't do anything else at this point except do what she's been doing. CT and Marcus are discussing Peppermint when she leaves and thinks she's being very defensive. They have a little convo, and they're like, "Oh, Peppermint, we brought up the situation again, and she's getting defensive and upset." But I mean, look, if somebody's accusing you of something, you're gonna get emotional about it because it's about you and it's not true. So I think the fact that she's getting hype about it is suspicious per se, but I can't see someone electing Peppermint as a as a traitor, because she's just not the scope of who she is and whatnot. So I don't think that she's gonna be doing all that, per se, and being a traitor. But definitely, I think I think that she has the opportunity to kind of like change the scope of things, but she really has to use her words wisely and really has to persuade people one way or another. Like, look, I'm not the traitor. We'll see if she can do that or not, but it just tough situation. Tough situation. She got put in this without doing much of anything. Honestly, it's kind of like a situation of the same as the guy on the trust that first got eliminated, the black guy on the trust. He got did nothing and he got sussed out. Same as Peppermint getting sussed out. Why is all the brothers and sisters always getting sussed out for doing nothing? Interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. But yes, Sandra is still isn't trusting of Parvati. They're still kind of like having this mental battle going back and forth. And they have another mission. So today, players split themselves into three groups: a yellow, red, and blue group into flannels. We don't see how they get to split themselves up. They just walk out in these flannels. They look kind of they fly though. I like the flannel look on everybody. I like that. I need one of those. They all have all the mission is all they have to do is get to the field of gold as fast as they can, and $20,000 worth of gold is in the field for them to grab and put in the pot. And there will be boxes and checkpoints along the way that make them give opinions about fellow cast members. So there's little tests on the side that can kind of that are clues. They're really clues. Which CT, I'm surprised CT had everybody didn't chime in on like didn't think about this. Maybe they didn't show it, but they're clues on who's who and who could be this and who could be that. So they got to really pay attention. This is a mission to get the money, but it's not just about the money. It's about finding out who could be a traitor or not. Some people are taking more action than others, and some people aren't. And there's scarecrows that represent the possible answers. There's also three shields hidden in this mission as well, and they'll protect the players that find them, of course. $20,000 is on the line for this mission. They have 30 minutes. So first, the yellow team gets we see the yellow team go, and their first checkpoint says, "Whose opinion do you value the most?" And it's either Marcus or Larsa. Well, everyone's like, Marcus, duh. Larsa ain't her value her opinion. She left her husband, who was teammates with her now boyfriend's father. She her ex-husband was teammates with her now boyfriend's father. Whose opinion are you gonna follow more? I mean, kind of obvious to me, but look, that's just the scope of things and whatnot. So yes, everyone picks Marcus essentially. Blue team initially picks um I believe the blue team is initially the one that picks Larsa, but I think like 10 steps in, they're like, let's, oh, come on now. It's not Larsa, it's Marcus. So they go back, pick up Marcus, and Marcus is correct. So as they're running to the next checkpoint, we see John, the old politician, fall. And he, I felt kind of bad at this point. He was running and he like falls on his face. This is old dude. He looks like he's like 60, 70-year old. And he just does like a slip on the banana peel, falls flat on his face, but gets right back up. Like, oh, like that hurt real. It looked like it hurt real bad, but he's like, I can't let these people see me sweat like that. So let me get up and keep going because I don't want to be the old wink link and whatnot. And they're running, and one of the girls comes up and says, "Don't you like? Oh, do you have your inhaler? Do you have an inhaler?" He's like, "No, I ain't got that inhaler, man. What you talking about?" That's a red flag. That's a red flag. I know he ain't the traitor, but John, you looking like the traitor already. You said that you had asthma earlier on, and now you're saying that you don't have an inhaler. Now, look, he's older. He probably forgot. I get it, but it's not a good look. It's not a good look, man. It's not a good look. And so the second question is, who is the most popular player? Is it Deontay or is it Peppermint? Now, me, I would have said Deontay. Look, I don't watch Drag Race, so you got to be somebody who watches like everything to know the scope of things. I feel like I've heard of Peppermint before, but I definitely have heard of Deontay Wilder before. He's definitely like, oh, Deontay, easily. He's the most famous person on the cast, I would think. So everyone picks him essentially, except one team. So the blue team starts out with Peppermint, but then they change their minds and pick Deontay. The red team picks Deontay, and the yellow team picked Peppermint. Well, it turns out that Peppermint was the correct answer. I'm like, huh? Really? Maybe I need to go watch Drag Race to see what's going on because she didn't even win. So I don't know. You Drag Race fans, tell me what's up because I don't know. I inform me about peppermint and what makes peppermint so iconic. Just let me know, or put a clip somewhere on the bottom in the comments, please. But yes, the next eventually everyone, they get peppermint and they go back if they're wrong to get the right scarecrow. The third checkpoint is, according to the group, who needs to speak up more, Dan or Cherie? Everyone's like Dan, 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 because he's quiet as a mouse, and that is a red flag. If you're the quietest one, you're trying to hide something. I'm surprised nobody took note of on screen. Nobody took note of this. And Dan's like shook right now. He's like, "Oh snap!" Like, he's panicking. When someone's name comes up in one of these any of these missions, you got to look at them and really, really just look at them and see what's up. And Dan's face said it all. I mean, he already thinks he's hot shit for being the quote unquote best Big Brothers player ever. Especially Janelle needs to focus on this too, but maybe she's blinded by the fact that they're supposed to be allies and working together. Who knows? But yes, everyone picks Dan, and they're correct, of course. And so they soon get to the scarecrows. Deontay's the first one up that hill. He's showing everybody why he is who he is, and he put the team on his back. But they get to the scarecrows, and each scarecrow is money, or it could be a shield. So they're ripping through these shields like they in the fields trying to get the last. They trying to get the last hole dug in holes, and Stanley Yelnats is trying to get the 6 feet deep, and they're trying to find the treasure chest in there. That's what it kind of looked like. I mean, they was ripping these things up, boy, like some wolves. I was like, damn, like it's serious, y'all. I mean, y'all need the money that bad, goddamn. Shoot, it was crazy, coach. They was getting out some demons of theirs, and they're like, this is a good way to get out. We ain't got time to go to boxing class, so we gonna knock through these dang scarecrows and show them what's up. But eventually they start ripping through these things, and there's shields in here as well, but only one person finds a shield, and that is Dan. And so Dan gets the one shield, and then time soon runs out, and they finish the mission, and they get $16,000 in the pot. So they get a good amount. They could have got 20, but they only missed out on two coins because each coin represented $2,000. So they did pretty good in my eyes of view. I mean, 16 out of 20, that's pretty good. Soon everyone's discussing who could be a traitor, who could not be. John's name is getting brought up when they get back to the house because he's about the whole inhaler debacle and whatnot, which is on him. He's like, I didn't say I had asthma. I'm like, yes, you did. I said I had asthma when I was a child, but now that I'm older, I'm okay. I was like, what? Politicians lying straight to y'all face, man. Don't trust these politicians, man. Don't trust them. They're gonna say what you want to hear, and then change the whole narrative of the story and tell you that you're wrong about what you heard. That's not what happened, coach. But okay, if that helps you sleep at night because you think you're safely guarded by everybody, go ahead and do it. But in this game, you're not. People keep saying that he's a politician, he's a professional liar, and they can't trust him. I agree. He would have been the first person. Like, look, this man got to go. If I wasn't a traitor. Peppermint soon is talking, and she slips up on her words when she says she's trying to explain herself. When she says winter, when she says she was thinking about not banishing a traitor, when she meant to say she was thinking about not banishing a faithful, and everyone like catches this slip, and it's a bad slip. Like, you can't hide this. You got to be careful what you say, especially in high tense situations, because that'll get you caught up, like Usher style, and you don't know what it is, but it seems to got you twisted. That whole style, and that's definitely what happened to Peppermint. Got it twisted up and knotted up, and she don't know what it is, but it seems to got her twisted. And she's definitely catches this and says it was an accident, slip of the tongue, the whole nine, but it's too late at that point. What happened happened. Soon time for the banishment ceremony. And in the banishment ceremony, so everyone's talking and whatnot, John said he's getting his lines ready for battle if necessary. What lines you got? Who your lines? Because it don't look like you got any. This man's delusional. Politician's delusional. Get him out of here, coach. John said, Peppermint is the first to speak. It's like, look, I'm going to clear the air. Says her name's been floating around and she wants to, make right of things. Then Trishelle speaks up and says she made a joke to Peppermint, and Peppermint looked jolted when she said this joke. Now, you saying that she looked jolted when you said this joke, but that's your perspective of things. Come on, coach. You just want your narrative to be the only narrative and the one that's right. And if anyone in here, especially John or I guess CT, knows Trishelle and Janelle, they know she's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And you gonna believe this girl? I'm just surprised they didn't like say like, guys, Trishelle's crazy. Yeah, we gonna listen to her, but they listen to this crazy woman. Don't get it. But hey, going against a brother or sister, I guess the narrative must be right, huh? Guess it must be. She says her name's been flooded around. Yes, I said that. She said Peppermint said she was making a joke, and no, Trishelle says she was just making a joke, and Peppermint says, "Girl, don't go into comedy because it ain't your strong suit. You might need to go into just stick with what you're doing and stay in your lane." Larsa says Peppermint slipped up and said she's a traitor earlier in the kitchen. Yes, we discussed that. Accident, very bad look. But Peppermint, I don't think she has the ammunition to be able to dig herself out this one. Like, she don't got those tools in her tool shed. So she just says, look, it was my bad, it was an accident, but you got to find something else to say. You got to maybe throw someone else's name out there. You got to do something. But just apologizing in the sense of this is not good enough for these people. Because Peppermint accidentally implied that she was a traitor and she just messed up her words. So they're trying to check on John now about having asthma. And he said he had asthma as a child, but doesn't anymore. We spoke about that. They clocking John left and right. Like, he looks like a politician in this moment, and he's answering everything like a politician. When someone's asking him a straight up question, he walks around the question and doesn't even answer it. John, come on now, coach. This ain't the house. You're not in the house. Just answer the question. But y'all can't do that, no, because you guys are always right. Yeah, it sounds about right. It sounds about right too. So this man can go. He's definitely he can go. I'm tired of him. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. Peppermint soon. We soon get everyone. They're gonna start to time. It's time to vote. So everyone gets their little whiteboard, chalkboard, writes a name on there, and to surprise, Peppermint's the dang near unanimous vote. A couple votes went to John, and I think one vote went to Trishelle. Of course, that was by Peppermint. But yeah, Peppermint, she received the most votes and is banished. So Peppermint gets up and does a little dramatic moment pause and reveals to everyone that she is a faithful, and everyone is shook, shocked, disturbed, distraught, everything. And they're like, I know it. And I'm like, if you knew it, then you shouldn't have did it, girl. It's too late. All y'all was wrong. So everyone's very emotional about it. It's kind of sad. It's an upsetting thing because Peppermint was funny. I think Peppermint was pretty funny. And everyone's thinking like, dang, what did we just do? People are crying. Deontay even gets pretty emotional about it because he's like, this isn't the type of person he is. But that's the game, and he's kind of seeing what's really going on right now. Everyone is thinking of all the quiet people in the room. Who wasn't talking in the room? Who was kind of just sitting in the back and didn't have anything to say and didn't speak up? Some people are thinking about Dan in the situation. Uh-oh. Dan, you ain't as good as a traitor as you thought you would be. This ain't Big Brother. Because you looking like the little bro in this situation. But yes, Marcus is soon interrogating Dan a little bit and saying anyone that didn't speak up and quiet was happy. Things were going the way they were, and they had nothing to say because they were traitors. Marcus, okay, you learned a thing or two. I like it. I like it. This brother's using the intuition in check. Don't be too smart now. They're gonna think, oh, this brother's too powerful. But I like that you check clocking this man right now. And I hope he gets his powers and uses them for good. So I hope that CT is checking what Marcus is saying, because if Marcus goes home, then he's gonna know, okay, Marcus, we were talking to Dan. Dan's the one. We got to get him out. That's obvious. So I hope CT is clocking this. Right? I hope he's clocking it. Because if Marcus goes home because Dan's like, oh, I got to get Marcus out because he's suspecting me, CT was right there. So easy, easy. So Dan, if you get Marcus or CT out, you're screwed. Don't do it. Not right now, at least. And soon it is time for the traitors to meet, and they all meet Phaedra, Dan and Parvati all see each other for the first time as traitors, and that's where episode 2 ends. So, episode 1 and 2, great start to the season. I love it, y'all. It's very addicting to watch. I'm going to check out episode 3 soon. We'll have a solo one for that. And then after that, we have one episode a week. So it'll be a lot shorter than this one. This one just had to cover everything. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the season, y'all. I am a spoiler king, but I don't know who's gonna win this show, y'all. I'm spoiler averse. I don't know who wins, but I'm definitely have some people I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for Marcus, Deontay, CT, Bergie, Janelle, Phaedra, and the other housewives woman. Can't remember her name. But yeah, I'm rooting for them. I like a lot of the cast. There's some people I don't like, but hopefully one of those people wins, and I'll be happy. If not, then I'm gonna have some hot shit to say. And thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode 1 and 2 Traders recap. We adding some things to the show. I hope y'all liking it. We try to make it better and better each and every time. And until next time, y'all, we out here. Peace and blessings. Thank you for joining the DeAndre way, where you can have it your way. I guess my way. But thank you. Peace and blessings, and have a great day. Deuces.